Hello students, now we are going to study about current density, conductance and electrical conductivity. Current density, the amount of current flowing per unit area of the conductor around that point such that area of cross section is perpendicular to the flow of current. Consider there is a conductor. This portion is called area of cross section, and when the current is moving in this direction, the direction of current and area of cross section, they make an angle of 90 degree. So we define current density as current per unit area, J equals to I by A, where I is the current flowing through the conductor and A is the area of cross section. This is equals to N A E V D by A equals to N E V D. Okay. Current density, this is a vector quantity because it has particular direction. Okay. And what will be its unit? Unit of current density is current per unit area, means ampere per meter square. Okay. Now the next topic is conductance. The reciprocal of resistivity is called conductance. This is represented as G. This is nothing but G equals to 1 by R. Reciprocal of resistance is called conductance. And we know that the standard unit of resistance is ohm. Therefore, the standard unit of conductance is ohm inverse, and this is called equals to S. Read as mho. Standard unit of conductance is mho. Now, electrical conductivity. Electrical conductivity represented as rho. Okay. Reciprocal of electrical resistivity or a specific resistance is called electrical conductivity. Sigma equals to 1 by rho. Unit of resistivity is ohm meter. So what will be the unit of resistivity? This will be 1 by ohm meter. And 1 by ohm, 1 by resistance is equals to conductance. And the standard unit of conductance is S. And this is meter minus 1. Okay. Now students, we are going to derive a mathematical relation between J, sigma and E. Okay, mathematical relation. Mathematical relation between J is current density, sigma is electrical conductivity, and E is electric field. Relation between J, sigma and E. Okay. Now you know that I equals to N A E V D. Okay. And J equals to I by A. So J can be written as N A E V D by A. Therefore, J equals to N E V D. Now, J equals to N E, where V D is drift velocity, and earlier we have studied that drift velocity is E by mass of electron. Therefore, J equals to N E square E T by mass of electron. This can be written as Ne square T by mass of electron multiplied by E, where capital E is electric field. Earlier you have studied that resistivity equals to mass of electron, number of electron, square of charge of electron, and relaxation time. So this is written as 1 by rho into E, and finally J equals to sigma into E, because conductivity is the reciprocal of resistivity. So J equals to sigma into E. Just note down. Now there is a next important mathematical derivation. Mathematical relation between mobility and resistivity, where mu is current mobility and rho is resistivity. Now you know that J equals to sigma into E, and J is I by A, equals to sigma is 1 by rho, means E by rho, and I equals to N A E V D by A, equals to E by rho. N E V D equals to E by rho. And earlier you know that current mobility mu equals to Vd by E. Mobility equals to drift velocity per unit electric field. So this can be written as Vd equals to mu into E. Mu into E equals to E by rho. So you get the relation Ne mu equals to 1 by rho, and rho equals to 1 by Ne mu. This is the mathematical relation between resistivity and current mobility. Okay, just write down. Now students, we are going to study about classification of materials in terms of conductivity. Insulators, materials whose conductivity is either very low or negligible or nil. For example, wood, plastic, they are insulators. That means they have no free electrons, because free electrons are the charge carriers, and in case of insulator there are no free electrons. Conductors, materials whose conductivity is very high, means they have large number of free electrons. Give some examples of conductors. They are aluminium, iron, copper, gold, silver. These are conductors. Semiconductors, materials whose electrical conductivity lies in between insulators and conductors, means they have few free electrons. For example, germanium and silicon. We will study about these semiconductors, germanium and silicon, in the next topic. Okay, write down. Now students, we are going to study about effect of temperature on resistance. Okay, you know that resistance equals to resistivity into length of the cross section divided by area of cross section, and resistivity is mass of electron n e square by t, relaxation time, length by area. Okay, now just tell me that if there is a conductor, and in conductor you know that there are many free electrons. Now if you will increase the temperature of the conductor, the electrons, they will start moving randomly at higher speed. That means they will vibrate about their mean position at a very large speed. So the successive time period between their collision, it will become small. This quantity will become small. When you will increase the temperature of conductor, the relaxation time, it will get decreased, and we can say that resistance is proportional to 1 by relaxation time, keeping these quantities constant. So you will get R proportional to 1 by T. So we can say that if we will increase the temperature of conductor, its relaxation time, it will decrease, and resistance, it get increased. So we can say that on increasing the temperature of a conductor, its resistance increases. Okay, now student, there is a topic, coefficient of resistance. Coefficient of resistance. We write coefficient of resistance as alpha. It is defined as the ratio of change in resistance to its original resistance and change in temperature. Okay, so alpha can be written as change in resistance R2 minus R1 by initial resistance multiplied by change in temperature. It means that at given particular temperature, its resistance is R1. After increasing the temperature from T1 to T2, we get resistance R2, and alpha is defined as R2 minus R1 by R1 into T2 minus T1. Okay, so what will be the unit of specific coefficient of resistance? Now R2 minus R1, this quantity is ohm, R1, this is also ohm, so they will get vanished, and the unit is 1 by degree Celsius or 1 by Kelvin, or in whatever unit you may write. This is inverse or Kelvin inverse. Okay, it is known as coefficient of resistance. For metals, the value of coefficient of resistance is positive, and for non-metals, the value of coefficient of, for non-metals and semiconductor, the value of coefficient of resistance is negative. Okay, now students, we are going to study about limitations of Ohm's law. Okay, So this Ohm's law, it is only valid for conductors. Okay, so we can say that Ohm's law is not valid for semiconductor or insulators. Okay, now if you will apply Ohm's law in case of semiconductor, what you will get? In case of conductors, if you will draw the graph between voltage and current, you will get a straight line. This means it is uniform. But in case of semiconductor, the value of voltage and current, it will not be linear. It will be just like this. Okay, so it is not valid for semiconductor. This is for conductors, and for semiconductor, graph will be not linear. It will just like a parabola. Okay, second thing is that the value of V and I depends on the sign of V. Sign of V means if the value of, for semiconductor, if the value of V is positive, I will be positive, and if the value, if you will inverse, if you will change the direction of voltage, the direction of current, it will also change. So you can say that the value of the graph between V and I depends on the value of V. For positive V, we get positive value of current in particular direction, and if you change the direction of voltage, the direction of current, it will also change. Third thing is that in case of semiconductor, we are talking about semiconductors. For semiconductor, this Ohm's law is not valid. Graph will be just like this. For one particular value of current, there will be more than one value of V. Okay, there are two or more values of V. So we can say that Ohm's law is not valid for semiconductor. Okay, now students, let us study about resistance in series and parallel. Resistance in series, resistors are said to be connected in series if same amount of current is flowing through each resistance when potential difference is applied across the combination. Let there be some resistors R1, R2, R3. Okay, and they are connected to the same potential difference V. Okay, this potential difference is V between the point A and B. Now let the cell draw I current, then the same current will flow through each resistors. Okay, now in case of series resistance, each resistance, they are connected by one by one. The first and last resistance, they are connected to a same battery. Okay, one by one. This is series combination. Let there be a resistance. Let there be a resistance having resistance equal to all of these resistance. This is R equivalent. Okay. Now students, just tell me that in case of series resistance, voltage get distributed, but current, it remains same. So let voltage across first resistance is V1, across second resistance is V2, across second resistance is V3. So we can say that V equals to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Okay. Now according to Ohm's law, V equals to IR. So let I equals to total current in the circuit, and this is R equivalent. This is the resistance equivalent to all these resistances R1, R2 and R3. So V1 can be written as I into R1, V2 is IR2, V3 IR3. So I into R equivalent equals to I R1 plus R2 plus R3. So R equivalent equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Okay. So the equivalent resistance is simple sum of all the given individual resistance. Okay. So students, in case of series combination, what you observe? Current in all the resistor, it remains same. So we say that current remains same in each resistor. Second thing is that voltage get distributed. In series combination, voltage is distributed. Okay. Third thing is that the equivalent resistance, this is larger than each of the individual resistance. Okay. So equivalent resistance, it get increased. Equivalent resistance is greater than each resistors. Okay. Now students, we are going to study about resistance in parallel. Resistance in parallel. Okay. When each resistor are arranged in such a way that its potential difference remains same or equal to the applied voltage, then we can say that resistances, they are connected in parallel. Let there be resistors R1, R2, R3 connected to a common potential V. Then each of the resistor, they have same voltage. R1, it has voltage V. R2, it has voltage V. R3, it has voltage V. All the resistance, they have same voltage that is equal to the applied voltage. And its equivalent resistance is Req. This is V. Okay. Now if I current is drawn through the cell, and when it enters and when it comes to the junction, there is three paths. So the current will get distributed in these paths, I1, I2, I3. So we can say that I equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Okay. Again I am telling you that in case of parallel combination, the common end of each resistor, they are same. First resistor, its common end is A and B. Second resistance, it has A and B. For the third, it is A and B. Okay. Their common end points, they are same. Now applying Ohm's law, I equals to V by R equivalent. For current I1, it can be written as V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. Okay. So V by R equivalent equals to V common 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So 1 by R equivalent equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Okay? Just write down. Now students, what you are observing in case of parallel combination? In parallel combination, current get distributed. Okay, so the current in individual resistor it is less than the supplied current. Voltage it remains same, and equivalent resistance this is less than each resistor, because 1 by Req equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So in case of parallel resistance, in case of parallel combination, current get distributed. Second one, potential difference, voltage it remains same in each resistor. Okay, and equivalent resistance is less than individual resistance. Okay, so students, write down. After this we will study about grouping of cells. Okay, grouping of cells in parallel or series, and we will also study about internal resistance. There are these two topics. After that we will do some numericals. Okay, so just write down.